right. Sid, you may want to listen into this company now. Actually, this is the first of the 3 hospitals that we're speaking with today. So Yatharth Hospitals is what we're talking about. We'll speak with Max Healthcare later and then Fortis a little later in the program as well. So Yatharth, of course, is a hospital company based in North India. And they operate 5 hospitals in total. So they reported numbers for the 4th quarter, highest ever sort of numbers in Q4. We have, Yatharth Tyagi, whole-time director at the company, now joining in to take some questions. Mr. Tyagi, good morning. Good to have you with us here. Thanks very much for your time. Prashant this side. So numbers are super strong, right? Revenues are up 30%, EBITDA is up 35%, margins are up 100 basis points. This is, of course, for the full year. Your presentation notes the CAGR rate of growth from the time of inception. And especially over the last few years, you've maintained this 30% kind of growth rate. Could you put out numbers for FY25 if you do have a sort of guidance in mind for revenues and EBITDA?
Hi, good morning. Thanks. Yes, I think being a new listed company was the first full fiscal year performance that we presented yesterday on the results. So the way the growth has been there, both year on year as well as quarter on quarter, it primarily attributes to the increase in the occupancy as well as the change in the case mix. So I think in the years forward as well, we still feel there's a huge growth that is bound to happen in terms of our occupancy. This fiscal year we are close to 55% compared to 45% of last year. So we feel that this 55% can even grow much higher in the coming years, as well as increase in the ARPOB, that is average revenue per occupied bed. This is what we feel. There's a huge scope for growth as well. That is due to the increase in the case mix. So now we are doing much more super specialty treatments, like our oncology share is increasing. We're getting much more international patients, including high-end liver transplant patients. So we feel based on the increase in the case mix, ARPOB should also increase, and the growth should be quite sustainable for the years to ahead.
So tell 55% occupancy. Where will this be, according to you? I mean, you can see how this is moving by the end of FY25 or the middle of FY25. Where do you see this moving realistically? And on average revenue per bed, if you can give us a sense, it's I think about 29,000 rupees now.
So if you look at it, the occupancy, and if you look at it, individual hospital level occupancy, and Noida Hospital, which is one of the more mature hospital, is almost running at 90%. As well as a Great Noida Hospital, close to somewhere around 65%, and Noida Extension 55%. So we feel that, especially in the newer hospitals, that is Noida Extension, as well as Jhansi Orcha, this occupancy in Noida Extension, which is today close to 50%, this can easily go 60-65% in a year and a half. So that is for the newer hospitals. And of course, as the newer hospitals are growing at much faster occupancy rate, overall at the consolidated level, occupancy is bound to increase because of that. As far as ARPOB is concerned, yes, we are doing roughly around 29,000 overall, but even in a single hospital like Noida Extension, the ARPOB is close to 35,000. We feel that in this specific hospital, the ARPOB, which is 35,000, can touch levels of 40,000 rupees very soon, purely because of oncology treatment started here. So last quarter we started radiation oncology as well as nuclear medicine. So PET, CT scans and LINAC line have been started here. So oncology gives a huge boost to the ARPOB. So Noida Extension specifically, if I talk about, can easily touch above rupees 40,000 levels in the times ahead.
Okay, so the Noida Extension Hospital can touch 40,000 rupees. And what would this mean for the average ARPOBs in FY25? I'm also asking because overall your international patients have also gone up, right? So how much can that revenue grow and how much would that lead to an increase in the ARPOB in FY25?
So we feel, if we talk about our ARPOB, it is growing quarter on quarter, not just year on year. So the growth in the ARPOB that, you have seen in terms of the delta for last 2 years, I think that growth in terms of percentage, it's very much sustainable at the overall level. So we expect the similar kind of growth that we have been showing for the last few years, even in the ARPOB.
No, can you tell us how much is the revenue from your international patients right now and how much can it grow?
See, international patients is contributing to, single digit in terms of percentage when it comes to the overall. But if we talk about, a transplant program, so let's say kidney transplant, we have done around 150 kidney transplants in last 1.5 years. So here across 90% of the kidney transplant are happening for international patients. Similarly, when it comes to bone marrow transplant and liver transplants. So basically a transplant program is where we're getting a share of 80 to 90% of international patients. And as the volume of of these transplants increase, the overall contribution in terms of international patients should touch double digit in terms of overall revenue contribution is concerned.
All right, we're here to talk about the financials, but best wishes with your entire team. Bone marrow transplants, kidney transplants, big surgeries, both of them. Give us a few more details though on that Ram Raja Hospital. There was a directive that came in there, and then you've got a stay. So what is the current status on this particular hospital in MP?
The current state of the hospital is running normally. Okay. Since the stay, we have been in talks with the local courts there, and everything is online. In fact, this hospital has grown significantly. If I talk about latest quarter 4, standalone, the occupancy at this hospital stood at 35%. And overall, in terms of the fiscal, this has grown 2x, 3x in terms of the top line is concerned. So Ram Raja Jhansi Orchha Hospital, I think the case on the stay is that we have received. I think we are pretty confident in the coming months. There should be a final order that would be, the case should be settled. But because we have had a communication with the local court and the officials there that the hospital is okay to run normally, we are expecting even further growth in terms of the overall occupancy in this hospital is concerned. And more super specialty treatments are now happening in this hospital. So the ICU care, that is the critical care beds, are almost full in this hospital. So that means that the patients for critical care treatments are now preferring a Ram Raja hospital, and we are pretty confident the occupancy should go up in the times ahead as well.
Yeah, what are the total beds now at capacity essentially, including the newly opened Faridabad one?
Yeah, so post the Faridabad acquisition, today we stand at 1,600 beds. And, the rough estimation is that in next 2.5 to 3 years, we should be doubling this bed capacity. So reaching somewhere around 3,000 beds. That is the plan. We are expanding our existing hospitals, both our Greater Noida and Noida Extension. We are adding 450 beds there. That is brownfield expansion, as well as there are a few more acquisitions that are in the pipeline, primarily in the North India region, focusing on Uttar Pradesh, Delhi NCR, MP. So bed capacity should be doubling in 2.5 to 3 years. That's our guidance for the bed capacity.
Okay. All right. We will leave it at that. Yatharth, thanks a lot for joining in and speaking to us on CNBC TV18, and all the best for the new hospitals and the way forward for the business as well.